Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today in this video we've got a small lathe project that was it's a rush job that just came in. It needs to be done by tomorrow morning. So we're gonna get this knocked out and I'm gonna show you a little lathe job. Alright guys, so here's what we're working with. This is some type of shaft for an auger. That is really all I know about it, but it's a piece of 1-inch square that slips back into a tube, and you've got your shaft here. You've got, of course, a bearing that goes on right here with a keyway. So we're going to be cutting that key slot. We've got another bearing, a little tapered roller bearing that goes on to this race right here with a snap ring groove. So pretty straightforward. I assume that sits in there like that I'm not really sure, but it's definitely a press fit onto this race right here. But anyway, we got the key, that way we can test fit it. Just a pretty straightforward job. Looks like it seats about right there based on the, maybe the bearing goes back here. I'm not really sure. We were just given these parts to replicate this shaft right here. So I've got my material set up. And it's exactly 1 inch by 1 inch square. It's 5.5 inches long. We're going to indicate this in the 4-jaw chuck on the lathe. And once we get this back part indicated, we'll be able to turn out all these features right here. So pretty straightforward. I'm going to get me some measurements and I will bring you back at the lathe. There's my poorly drawn dimensions, but it'll work. Done. No, I'm just kidding. $51, $44. This is why I want a longer chuck wrench. $48, $48, $49, $47. $48, $48, and $48. Let's find our low spot. Re-zero. One thou drop. Low. Guys, I think that's good for what we've got here. 24. $24 and a half. Nothing. So we're about a thou out on the run out. Let's come in here and check. Let's go in another couple thou. There's 27. $26. 26 and a half. And 25 and a half. So you know it's not perfect. We got a couple thou run out, but I believe that's going to work just fine, because that other part of this square, all it does is slip into a piece of square tubing. So we don't have to be, well, I mean, we can spend hours indicating this. If you've ever indicated square stock, you know it's a real nightmare. I believe we're going to call that good right there, though. I can't see any visible run out. You know, you can usually see 4 or 5 thou. I'm not seeing that. Yeah, I think we're good. We're going to use some CNMG 432s for our roughing. And I left us about 10 thou to finish this face. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to do a 5 thou pass. Pretty quick feed. And do another 5 thou pass. A little slower feed. A little higher RPM. Do 492 RPM. And about half the feed rate. Alright, we got us a nice face on there now. Need to measure exactly 2.750. Okay, we're gonna let that go for a second and dry. Oh no, okay, I saw the lathe moving. We've got us a mark there. I'm just going to verify it. Come in about 3 thou off of that and we'll be zeroed. All right, so 2.750. Okay. I'm going to take about a 20 thou pass and see what happens. Let's take 10 off each side and lock it down. See how she goes. I don't know if we need coolant or not. These interrupted cuts are never fun. And that's what you call an interrupted cut. When you hear, but you probably can't hear it on the video, but you know you're only hitting on the corners, like that, instead of a straight cut. We're gonna crank that feed up. We're also gonna crank the RPMs up, I'd say. You know what I also didn't do was zero out my 2.750 mark, which is a really boneheaded move right there. We're gonna have to stop this and redo it. Let's see what we can handle here. I'm worried about not having to put a center in that. I don't really know yet. but I may have to center drill that if we can. If we can't, we'll have to do some light passes. This is a 40 thou total, 20 thou radius cut. I don't really want to take it any harder with a 50% stick out on the tool, on the part. And guys, when I do these repair jobs and work like this, even though I'm videoing, I do not charge for the time I spend taking a video or talking or explaining. I've got separate timers running. I have 3 timers going. 3 timers to use, I mean, sitting in various places. All right, we'll just keep whittling away at it. As these cuts get heavier, I will have to take a little lighter pass probably. You know, as we go deeper, we're removing more material because we're taking those corners and rounding them off. I know this is a long shot, but if anybody watching has a 5C collet chuck for an L1 spindle mount, I'm looking for the chuck with the hand wheel. It's a speed chuck. I will pay a very, very good price. I really don't want to buy one new, but I need one ASAP. If anybody has one, reach out to me. I'll gladly pay shipping. I'll pay freight. If you're close enough, I'll drive up to you and get it. But apparently they don't exist because I've checked everywhere in the world online. Not really something you find used very often. Actually, we need to check our circle. Still got a long way to go, obviously. Well, helps if those are on. Check on the end. Down 15. And thou 15. 1 inch 15. You know what I'm saying. So we are going to take 8 thou. Going to re-zero our indicator. That's what you do when you don't have a digital readout. Very soon, I promise. Okay, take 4 thou. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the radius, which is 8. What are you doing, pump? It's got to have a massive piece of crap in there. Let's straighten this out. To 648. One day we're going to address this bypass 0 speed sensor on this lathe so we can, it'll shift like it should. And we're going to drop our feed rate down. Just try to do a couple finish passes. Yep, 7 thou. Exactly 7 needs to come off of it. So we're gonna take 3.5. All right, guys, final pass. All right, turn that crap off. Yeah, that turned out beautifully. So we're just gonna mic that one more time. Make sure we didn't undershoot it or overshoot it. All right, guys, we are a couple tenths over, which is right what I was aiming for. That's not a tenth, Mike. But it's a little bit over an inch. Just enough to hit it with a quick polish before we move on to our next operation. And let's see where we are at now. Should be right on the money. If this thing ever stops spinning. Oh yeah, dead on. Yeah, that's dead on the money. So we will make us a scribe mark right there. Just gonna jog our lathe. Okay. Again, we can't go too aggressive because we're working on the main end of the part here. Holy crap. Let me clean my glasses off here. .848 and a tenth. 8481 and 6874. Let me calculate that. 0.8481 minus 0.6874 equals 160 thou to come off. About 15 thou. So we're gonna take us a 10 thou pass just to establish a zero. Coming up 20 thou away from our shoulder right there. We need to mic it. We're gonna zero our indicator first. Okay, let's mic that real quick. Split that 7223.7223 minus 0.6874. Got 34 thou to come off. Yeah, our insert's a little dull. Shoot, wish I noticed that first. Still getting a decent finish though. So we've only got a few thou to play with. This should leave us half a thou oversized, and we'll just do a little bit of light sanding, light high grit polishing. So we are 3/10 over, which is perfect. We're gonna polish this real quick while we're in the higher RPM. We're gonna take one more thou. And that's it. There was a mouse nest here, and he's pooped everywhere. Here's a nice grinder that hasn't been on video. This gets used very seldom and only for this. All right, guys. It does not look pretty. But I believe it may work. We're gonna be holding the tool sideways. Let's try her out. I don't use this knurling tool much, so we'll just take it out for now. It's an Eagle Rock knurler. We're just checking it with this little spring center. All right, guys, we're ready to cut the keyway. I'm not strong enough. We should have put something on there to protect that. But it's just going into a square tube, so still don't like it. What the heck? Okay, we're gonna work off this vise here so y'all can watch. Pull the parallels out, set them aside. We need to figure out how to hold this and also support that shaft. Yeah, I forgot to mention, got my new boots, breaking them in, new boot goofing. There's the old ones right here. So that one's still good, and this happened right here. It's starting to split. My toes are starting to get wet. So, unfortunately, these are about done. So we're breaking some in today. We've got our new shaft made. Ignore the apprentice marks on there. There it is, all finished up. Like I said, I wish I would have thought and put some protectors on these jaws, but I didn't. So we've got the new shaft. Completely finished, ready to be picked up. Nice slip fit with no play whatsoever. The key comes in here pretty tight. And then I believe this tapered bearing goes on the front here, and it's held in place by this snap ring. I'm not going to press it on there. Sorry for my strange camera angles. I have no idea what I'm doing. I really appreciate everybody watching, and I appreciate all the new subscribers. We've went from 301 this morning up to 478 when I last checked, and that's all thanks to Steve Summers. So if you're here from his channel, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this channel. And you'll be seeing every Friday I do a Friday Night Ramblings video where we go over new tool purchases, we go over machines, moving stuff. We went up to the barn a couple weeks ago and looked at a lathe that I dropped. And if you're enjoying the channel and want to share it with your friends, share it to your Facebook, that would really help out a lot also. Trying to make a good professional channel here. I will get better at the camera angles and figuring all those setups out. We're going to try to do the camera on a mag base, on a Noga mag base, and it can ride on the cross slide or the carriage with the on the lathe. So that'll be easier than sitting you in the chip pan. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you later. Thanks.